So we want to wish the best to everyone observing Yom Kippur right now. And lots is still going on in the world, you know. There's reports that Billy Bush may sue NBC if they fire him over his comments in the leaked Access Hollywood video, because he says the network never had a problem with him acting this way before. Now, John Oliver pointed out a few examples on his show. Take a look.
A look back at Billy Bush being creepy with everyone.
How do you feel about your butt?
Are you kidding me? You did not just ask me that.
I did.
I was in my pajamas all day, just walking around.
Slow down here. This is the good one. Yeah.
Okay, I was in my negligee.
Ah.
You're the best looking girl in the whole cast. Are you single or are you a boyfriend?
So if they end up firing him and he does sue, does he have a case here for them not sort of calling him on creepy stuff before?
I think it's I think it's possible. When I first looked at it, I was like, no way, because he probably signed a morals clause, which we all have in our contracts, which is,
We
you know,
do?
if you
Don't draw attention to it, Joy. They might see you.
Oh my God.
It's highlighted and an asterisk in yours.
I never read those things.
it imposes a duty on talent to act in a way that's not detrimental to the employer. But if NBC had noticed that he asked all these creepy questions and he behaved this way, his argument is, well, where do I draw the line? You drew a line for me. You allowed me to do all this stuff before, and now all of a sudden it's not okay. It's like hiring a shock jock, and then when he says something and having him shocking, then you fire.
But in this day and age of like social media and being able to hear instantly from fans and audience who are the reason that advertisers advertise on a program, now it is detrimental, because it would be difficult for a morning show to recover from putting someone on the air. So now, arguably, I'm legally arguing right now.
That's all right.
Is it not just become detrimental because now people are up in arms about it?
Maybe. I mean, that I'm sure NBC is going to make that argument, but I don't know. It's at first I thought he has no case whatsoever.
Well, but the truth of the matter is daytime and evening. You can say things in the evening, you know, or on a show like, you know, he did, which is just, you know, a talk with a celebrity or whatever. It's a little bit different than when you're talking, you know, to politicians, or when you're doing stuff in the morning with. I think it's a different thing, and one would have to say, listen, if John Oliver was able to put this together, how come y'all didn't notice it? I mean, it's a valid question.
I think they did. They just didn't pay attention to it.
But that's Billy's point.
Or maybe it seems creepier in a string of events than it does in 1 second in an interview.
Except to think how old that tape is. That's an 11-year-old tape,
and
right?
he's been under the NBC umbrella for a long time.
For a very long time.
You know, but Trump has been able to take down Jeb Bush and now Billy Bush. I mean, he's powerful in that way. I mean, really.
I find it.
No wonder the Bushes really can't stand him. They can't.
I find it really odd, though, if there was a pattern of behavior, and if you noticed that, and if he wasn't reprimanded, then why not? Why didn't somebody say something to him or do something then? It seems to me that it looked like there was some kind of opportunity here, that, you know, life presented itself. There was a Trump moment here, and it was an opportunity to kind of reprimand him and hold him accountable, and at the same time make some sort of point about the political spectrum that we're in. Because it seems to me, if I had a pattern of behavior and I worked anywhere and I had said these things, people notice. TV executives aren't stupid. They notice. And if they don't pull you aside, doesn't some of that fall on them then?
I think so.
It seems to me that this is about Donald Trump and not necessarily about Billy Bush.
But Billy is, he is the only one paying for this, by the way.
Well, Trump will pay in November.
We'll see. But the bottom line is, you know, you have to have consistency. You can't sit and say, oh, this is horrible, and we're taking you up, especially when you just hired him. You just hired him.
They just promoted him. I mean, he was a co-host of the Today Show. That's a significant promotion, and I don't know.
Did they hold on to this tape because of Billy Bush? They did not release it right away. Am I correct?
I believe you're correct. I don't know.
I think, though, there's a difference, too, between these two examples, though. Like, when you see, even though it's uncomfortable when you watch this video and he says, oh, like, you're in your negligee, wait just a second, let me think about it. And when you've just heard someone say they you know, they take things without waiting for consent, and then you say, hey, give him a hug, give him a hug.
Yes, he egged it on.
She's always doing that to you. Boy, I always hate you. I'm so
I have so many black and blues from this woman.
I'm like Punky Brewster on Friends.
I know. I'm
Miss
so sorry.
Iowa
I'll
over
go
here
this
is
way,
strong.
But I think there's a distinction because, like, I've been in work situations where someone says, "You look really hot in that," or, I mean, I'm sure we've all heard someone say, "Wow, your butt looks great in those jeans," or something. And I find that different than someone that, "Your butt looks good."
Thank you.
But I feel like there's a difference between that and the videotape with Donald Trump. Actually, I had a visceral reaction because it felt aggressive.
Yeah. He egged it on.
Yeah, that
he
felt
egged
different to
on
me.
the behavior.
But the bottom line is the behavior that he exhibits. If you're watching and you're the EP, you say, you know, I don't know if I want you talking like that to J-Lo.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I'm not sure that that's the best thing for the show. If they felt like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, how long he's been with them is very important. He's been there a long time. And so for it suddenly to go, poof, you're out. And he's going, well, no, not quite poof, you're out yet. So
Is it
we'll
part
see.
of the culture there?
And it also-
It's just a part of the, I think it's just part of the culture because people don't say anything. Sometimes you say, well, how do I really feel about this? That wasn't that aggressive. But sometimes you say, look, I don't want you talking to me. Don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to anybody I know like that. So I think people are getting saturated. And they call it PC, but it's not PC. It's only PC if it's not happening to you.
Right.
See, that's what people say, oh, it's so PC. Well, nobody wants to hear those other jokes anymore because you're offending them. And that's their prerogative, you know. So I think as different groups decide that they have the right to say, I don't think I like when you talk about my people like that. I think that's what's happening. And a lot of people, you know, get kind of mad. They don't like that, but life's a bitch. Anyway, another celebrity lawsuit news. Kim Kardashian sued website Media Takeout for claiming she faked her Paris robbery. It's not the only site to suggest that it might have been a setup, and people have accused her reality show staging scenes before. But, I mean, how does anybody know? I mean, should she be waiting to sue them? Should she sue them now? I don't know.
Lawyer, but I understand that truth is the ultimate defense, correct?
Exactly.
So if she was robbed, then she has a right to sue them, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're out of control.
They're out of control. I mean, I pulled the lawsuit because I thought, is this serious or not? It's in federal court here in New York. She sued them. Very good attorneys. And listen to the false headlines that Media Takeout wrote, or allegedly false. New evidence suggests Kim Kardashian staged the robbery, just like Ryan Lochte. They said French authorities suspect Kim Kardashian of lying. And then this one really got me. Kim Kardashian just filed an insurance claim for $5.6 million. If she faked the robbery, she just committed a federal crime. That's significant. That is defamation.
But she would know
if it's not true.
She knows that if she ever did something like that and then made a claim like that, it would all come out anyway. Her people are not stupid. They know what's...
But people don't put two and two together. I mean, if you read that, you think, well, wouldn't she know that everybody would be saying that?
Of course.
But, you know, people say, oh, you know, that's what she did. You know she did it.
Yes.
So it fuels it.
But this internet media is out of control. I mean, people can say whatever lies they want to say now.
Sonny, I want to ask you.
It goes all the way up to running for president.
Well, it's true. I want to ask you a question, though, Sonny, about this, because I always hear that celebrities have a hard time making these cases because, you know, people can say anything about us. But this, to me, looks like character assassination, defamation, and malice. Apparently, you have to prove that it was intentional. What other motive would there be? You're calling someone out for a liar.
Because when you are a public person, certainly the standard is a bit higher when you're talking about defaming that person, because you're putting your life out there.
That's right.
But if you intentionally print something without an appropriate source that is false, that is still illegal. And I'm just...
It used to be you didn't do that for this very reason.
Yes, because you get sued.
You know,
One quick thing.
Yes.
Media Takeout is not responding to requests for comment. ABC News has tried to reach out for comment.
And so have we.
They're not responding.
We've asked them, everybody, we've tried, you know, but what are they going to say? What are they going to say, you know?
They did take down the articles, which is very interesting
Which she asked them to do. You know, 2 weeks ago. Or a week ago. She asked them to do that because it's like, come on. But you know. What you're going to do? People, you know what? People believe what they want to believe. Not necessarily what is the fact, because facts are very loose these days.
You're not kidding.
But there is one fact that we can all agree on. We'll be right back.
Coming up, Can you break up and still hook up? The ladies on whether sex can survive after a split. So the ladies were talking relationships.
Can you date a bunch of people at the same time,
They
though?
say you should. You should date 3 people at once because you spread your crazy out.
And Jed,
I don't even like to share my food, let alone my man.
it's The View. Later.
What don't they understand about the phrase murder, suicide?
She's never shy about giving her view. Hot topics are off the hook when Nancy Grace hits the table.
Little Donald Trump says that losing support from a lot of Republicans just means, quote, the shackles have been taken off. And he made this warning to his supporters in Florida. Take a look.
You guys don't vote me as a victor, I'm going to be very angry at you. There's never been anything like this. So go and register. Make sure you get out and vote November 28th.
That's right, Trump supporters. Do exactly what he says. You go to those polls on November 28th. Actually, the truth that it's not November 28th. It is, in fact, November 8th, Donald, just in case. Because I know you have so much to say. I'm sure you just misspoke. It's the 8th.
I think he wants to make America late again. and can I just point out one thing that I found out? November 28th is the day that Trump University trial begins. That's,
is it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so he subconsciously he had that on his mind.
Dead.
Yep.
Donald.
You're actually giving him that much credit, huh?
I love that Joy investigated.
I think it's bothering him, like somewhere in his head, that he's going to have this problem on November 28th. So it came out.
Psychologist Joy Behar.
You don't need to be Dr. Phil to think these things out.
He also attacked the Republicans who have disavowed him, saying he's better off without Speaker Ryan, John McCain's support. Like he said, I told the supporters the shackles are off. But I never knew he was shackled to begin with. I never saw a shackle. I never saw anything keeping that mouth closed.
Exactly.
What's interesting about this is there has been a legitimate debate for a long time, policy-wise, between GOP establishment and grassroots people who feel that the Republican Party has become a big government party. They don't fight for lowering the debt. They don't fight for the things people believe in. But that's been a disagreement on policy. That's not what's happening here, Donald. You're not this conservative warrior that somehow Paul Ryan is fighting against on policy. No, you've said some terrible things. It's a character issue. So he's trying to say, oh, the GOP establishment hates me, so grassroots, you should love me because I'm the real conservative. No, that's not what's happening here. Paul Ryan is listening to what you're saying and saying, this is not representative of my party. These types of comments about women do not stand for the Republican Party, and I can't stand with you. So good for him for saying that. But Donald, honestly, that's you don't get
a lot of credit.
No, that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
He is known for the whole year that Donald has said things that he doesn't stand for, and he stood behind him anyway. Now all of a sudden he jumped the shark.
Paul Ryan hasn't really been
politics.
a Trump supporter.
I got to tell you, I don't think that it matters that he has broken off from the GOP, that he's a party of one, because he is the anti-establishment candidate, and his supporters want someone like that. And I think what's interesting is after this, the debate where he did apologize for his words, 89% of Republicans said in a post-debate polling that they would vote for Mr. Trump in a head-to-head matchup against Hillary Clinton.
Well, he's not the anti-establishment candidate, though. He thinks he is, and he's trying to convince the world he is. Rand Paul is the anti-establishment candidate. It's somebody who actually fights for lowering the debt, for school choice, for all these things that the Republicans were supposed to be doing.
Rand Paul right now.
Yeah, but he's
Can I point something out? Because the debt was in pretty good shape before the last Republican came in. I do think that there was 2 wars started under the last Republican. That's not fiscally smart. And he just spent And none of those wonderful Republicans, none of them, and we took them to task then, said, hey, wait a minute, we're just bleeding money here.
That you're making my point, which is what the grassroots has been saying for a long time.
Let me tell you why I'm making my point, because all of those Republicans, a great many of them were there during the Bush years and said nothing about the bleeding of the money out of the country. I'm just saying,
a lot of Republicans have been standing up to that. That's why the grassroots has risen up. It's not because of Democrats. It's because they're disgusted with Republicans.
I get that, but then why are they suddenly disgusted with
they've been disgusted for a long time. Under the Bush years, many libertarians, many right-leaning people have been standing up and saying there's too much money being spent on wars, there's too much money being spent on infrastructure. No, that's not true. I mean, Obama has contributed to the debt. Let's be honest about that.
But
so
there wouldn't have been this bitch of a debt had we not gone into two wars.
We still would have had a lot of debt.
We spent money. We bled money. We bled money. And you may be correct, but I'm just saying I don't recall any of the Republicans saying, hey, we need to put a finger in this dike because there's too much going out. There's too much going out. So I'm thrilled that we may get back to fiscal responsibility. I like people to be fiscally responsible. I don't want my money wasted.
But I think the average Republican voter feels that unemployment is up. They feel that the economy is in a mess. And that's why they think Donald is the candidate.
My only point was about that.
Down.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Unemployment is down, but I think Republican voters are still going to vote Trump. I don't think that they're necessarily going to break from the party.
Bill Maher said something interesting on his show the other day. I was watching him on HBO, and he was saying that the average Trump voter makes about $70,000 a year, which in a lot of parts of this country is a living wage. And that it's not really about immigrants are taking their jobs and the unemployment rate and all this other stuff. There's something else going on. It's like nihilism, like let's blow everything up. They're just mad. They're mad.
Blowback from 4 years of a black president.
There's that
I feel.
There's that.
I think it's
a lot of it. I think people, because, you know, that's why the whole woman issue is such a thing. They don't want to hear from their supposed wives what to do with the country. People don't, you know, I just feel like.
What do you mean?
Well, I think when they look at Hillary, forget everything else. She is first and foremost a woman.
That's true.
And I think men still have a hard time with everything that's going on in the world, taking this from women. Now, I'm not painting all men. I'm not painting all men with that. So just, you know, hold on to your tweets, friends. I'm just saying that I think that's a lot of it. I think a lot of it was, you know, I don't know what happened 8 years ago. I saw him standing in the light. I always knew he was black, but it seemed like the next day after Obama was elected, people were like,
there's a black man in the White House.
Black. And it was like, yeah. And then hearing all of the things, you know, we're not going to help you anyway. We're not going to do anything.
But I think you're making the point that we said okay to a black president. Now we have to say okay to a woman. It's like too much.
There are
too much.
There may be also other issues.
There are Trump supporters too out there who see the unemployment numbers, who look at people leaving the labor force, who look at Obamacare numbers rising, and they don't love Trump, but they want jobs, they want change
that he can do something.
No,
and
they
that's
just
the
don't.
trick.
That's different. They don't believe in her.
He's screaming at me. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A mother on ScaryMommy.com listed things her kids can't believe she had to do when she was a kid. Like actually having to go to a physical library to do research.
Dewey Decimal, baby.
Yes. Or picking up a phone without knowing who's on the other end. Anything you remember?
Well, you'd have to dial a phone.
Yeah.
You had to roll down a window.
Yeah.
You had to get up to change the channel. We had more aerobic exercise in those days.
I found some ones that weren't on there that kids will never have to do. Use a map. Not
that's
digitally.
A big one.
Rent a movie from Blockbuster. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when you couldn't rent movies? When you had to wait a year to see your face?
That's before my time.
But that's important. It's important. Poop without a smartphone.
Didn't have to take your shoes off at an airport.
That's what it says.
My kids always take the phone into the bathroom.
This is why they have a hard time pooping.
Yeah, I'm like, why do you need the phone? You're in the bathroom.
Because you're in the bathroom and you're doing this. You're not in there doing, you used to have to push.
Yes.
They get up, don't even realize
There's an app for that.
They don't even know they didn't go. They get up and right when they go on and they think, oh, I'm still bloated.
You know what spoke to me was the picking up the phone without knowing who was calling. I never forget, when I was a kid, we did not have a lot of money and had a lot of debt. And, people would call, and I'd call, and it was a bill collector. And I'd give a lot of information to the bill collector. It was like unbelievable. But you wanted to pick up the phone. And now I never pick up my phone if it's an unknown number, because that's like picking up a hitchhiker. You don't know who's on the, right?
Yeah.
You don't
Just as dangerous.
Do you remember when you had to go to the store and bring them your film?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and you could get doubles for free.
That was my high school job. I worked at O'Henry's Filmworks.
My God.
Make a mixtape whenever you were in love.
Yes.
All the good songs were on side A.
My dad still gets it. We used to drive from here to Florida all the time, and he used to get in the car and he used to say, all right, take out the map. And I used to be like, the what? And he used to take it out, and he used to teach me how to do these things, which are so basic. And now it's even worse, because you could just take your phone, GPS. My boyfriend takes out the phone and he's like, all right, babe, right, left, right. And I'm like,
you're walking,
dude,
right?
you don't know how to, like, it's a big deal.
Steve used to be so good with maps.
No more.
The man knew where he was going, and now Waze has come in.
Yes.
And he is Waze's bitch. Let me tell you something. That man cannot move without Waze.
When was the last time you hand wrote a letter?
I love handwritten
She
letters.
sent me a note, handwritten note yesterday.
Thank you notes are always handwritten.
That's it. Do people remember handwritten notes?
My handwriting.
Do you? My grandson, when he was very, very, very little, asked me once, "What time is it?" I said, "The clock's right there."
Oh.
No.
He couldn't, because it was unplugged. When he was little, he couldn't read it because it wasn't digital.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to tell time.
A lot of kids don't know how to write cursive.
No.
I was just gonna say, you like read my mind on a number of occasions.
You have to
And read. Come on,
that
tell the
in
time.
school.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think, interesting question, because with these advances, things have gotten easier in many ways, but I kind of miss all that stuff. I miss a simpler time. I miss all of the simplicity of going and walking down and having to use a payphone and not having this run my life.
I don't miss the smell of the payphone. I used to go in the payphone and like, oh, can't use this one.
I like caller ID. I like caller ID.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I do miss having to figure out what I like.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, you had maybe 4 radio stations, and they basically played everything. You heard James Brown the same time you heard Glenn Campbell. You
miss a lot now.
made your decision about what your musical tastes were. And now it's just,
even on
you
TV,
can only go
it's
here.
favorites.
Yeah,
Favorites.
That's kind of weird.
That.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be right back in a minute. We'll be back.
To win a VIP trip to The View. Fly to New York, stay in a hotel, and watch The View live. Go now to abc.com/The View to enter for a chance to win. Because...
What age do you think you should teach a kid about sex? A blogger defended her decision to have the conversation before kindergarten once she realized kids were talking about sex as young as 5 when adults weren't around. So is that surprising news to you? And what age do you think you would be comfortable?
Well, I originally reacted like that's way too early, but then when I read into the article and she said that her kids were coming home from school hearing it from other kids, is it as uncomfortable as the idea that he's going to be old enough to have this talk is for me right now? I'd rather me tell him, or actually Max, than a 6-year-old.
Well, how do you bring it up? What do you say to the kid?
Yeah. Where do babies come from?
At that age?
They ask questions,
When the kid asks and says, is this how you have a baby? Like I learned in my father's Coca-Cola truck from my girlfriend, Julie Caratura. So we're in 3rd grade, and she just said the man gets a big belly and the woman gets a big belly, and then only the woman has the baby. That's the extent of the information.
Well, she just described marriage.
She's talking about hysterical pregnancies.
Yeah.
I think kindergarten is a little young for going through the mechanics of sex and being very graphic. I think you can do it in a way that's appropriate. I was pregnant with my daughter when my son was 3, and he was curious about what was in my tummy and how it got there.
Yeah, that's the part.
How it got there. And I said, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much, God puts the baby.
And even if they, wait a second, even if they don't love each other very much.
Sometimes God puts the baby there anyway.
Yeah.
God puts the baby there.
Even if they can't stand each other.
You can get, there's a book called Where Did I Come From, which is a great book for little kids because they do want to know.
They want to know.
What is that? How does that work? And, you know, you don't have to graphically go there, but this is the book is great for little kids.
Do you have to read it? Can they read it themselves?
Yes, they can.
Good.
It's written for little
So then you have to wait till they can read.
I'm in the hospital. I just had Alec, and my nephew, Max's nephew, comes and he's 9, and he asked me about the baby and where it came from. And I turned to his dad and I said, "Oh, do you guys use like real terms?" Because and he goes, "Oh yeah, we use real terms." I go, "So the baby came out of my vagina," and he goes, "Not that real." And I was like, "No." The poor kid was like, "Can we leave, Daddy?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Well, you know, the craziest thing is it's our discomfort with the conversation because if you want your kids not to use the language that you heard in that Trump tape, tell them what the real word is.
Yeah.
You know, so that they know that there is a whole other conversation about this that doesn't stem from a colloquial description.
Keep it biological and science.
Well, keep it straight. It's clean.
Also, kids, just from teaching for years, I found that kids that don't have these conversations early at home come into school and hear it from other kids, get alarmed. They get nervous. They feel like other kids know something they don't know. They get confused. They get scared sometimes because the way the kids discuss it can be graphic and offensive.
When you say it's too early, though.
I think it depends on the kid.
I'm not good at this.
You're asking
depends on the kid.
I'm not good at this.
If your kid is asking questions,
when your
it's not
child
too
is
early.
asking you, then you tell them. If they're not asking, look, kids don't know what sex is. They don't know they have no idea. You are describing words. It means nothing to them.
The God in the tummy one wasn't a good one?
No, it was not a good one.
God put it in the tummy.
Because what about people who are not believers? How did they get one?
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't ask that.
No, I know he didn't. I know he didn't. But he might.
My daughter says that it's harder to talk about death than it is about sex to a child, which I agree with that.
I agree.
Sex is, you can probably make it fun.
I lost a hamster when I was 9, and I never got over it.
We'll be back. Go on. We'll be back.
This happens.
I'm Nancy Grace, and I'm about to give the ladies of The View my new book, Murder in the Courthouse. It's scary.
This week on The View, our hot topics are so red hot.
Baby, you don't know the half of it.
And with the election now just weeks away, our political view is sizzling. Because we got Vice Presidential hopeful Hillary's right-hand man, Tim Kaine, and his wife, Ann Holton.
Wow.
And anything goes when these guests hit The View. Neil deGrasse Tyson and Wendy Williams.
Yeah!
It's all this week on The View on ABC.
You need a strong voice to be heard in Hot Topics, and this lady knows how to get her point across. Please welcome Nancy Grace. So now, honey, you've been at HLM for 12 years.
Can you believe it?
It's
I was there with her.
I know.
Wow.
So, but
And her. She's seeing it.
I know. So why are you making a change? What's happening?
Exciting new things. You know what? I really believe that I can help solve missing children's cases and unsolved homicides with the new age of digital. I mean, the last few cases that we've managed to help crack, people get it off my Facebook page. And I want to do that. Hey, I never thought I was going to be on TV to start with. Well, but I will say I am pursuing a traditional TV platform.
What's the news?
I don't know the news
You have
yet.
a little
but
news?
first I've got to get myself through this
How are
election.
you going? How are you going out?
With a bang. First of all, this is Dan Abrams' blood right here. Now look, seriously, that's Dan Abrams' dried blood on the front of my book.
Why do you say that?
Just because we always fight with each other on GMA.
It's
We have a
really
good time.
funny.
We actually started together. I started with him at Court TV. That's how long we've been friends.
You've always been so great. The little known story is that my first TV appearance was with Nancy Grace, and she says during the break,
I created you and
she
I
did,
can
because my
destroy
real
you.
name is Asuncion, and she's like, can I say something to you? Asuncion. No one can pronounce it. They can't remember it. What's your nickname? I said Sunny, and she changed the Chiron right then and there on air, and I've been Sunny ever since.
That's right.
So thank you for that. It was Nancy. But I'm curious, and you've always been great to me. I'm very curious what you think about the Billy Bush situation legally.
Okay, I know Billy through TV, like interviewing me on different crime segments. And okay, as much as I don't want to say this because she will totally kill me, I don't agree that, hey, he's been misbehaving. First of all, it's not a crime. So unless it's got crime scene tape around it, I don't know about it. But the fact that he has been misbehaving, so to speak, for a long time does not mean he can keep doing it.
You don't buy it.
Like every time I see John David eating with his lips apart, I'm like, no, that's not okay. So I'm like, fine, that needs to stop. That's not appropriate.
If he has the morals clause, you think he's done.
But should he be fired? They're fired. It might fire.
I know this, he shouldn't go to jail. I should start with that.
No,
but I think it's on them.
But do you think his point is, you know, you've allowed me to do this for so long. You've had this tape for 11 years.
No, I've been naughty for so long. Why now? No, that is not going to work. That's not a defense.
Well, we'll see.
But if he brings it in court, at least he might get a settlement.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe, girl.
Nancy,
Hey, you can come work on my website, Billy.
Now, did you hear us talking about Kim Kardashian? She is suing a gossip site for reporting that she lied about the
You know what I don't
robbery.
like about that?
Right.
I'm always saying Lady Justice has on a blindfold. Why? We don't have to like the victim. We don't have to agree with them. But here's the deal. A gun was held at her head. And I believe that happened. Yes, I know their plot lines are all fake.
No, I believe
keeping
it
up with the
happened too.
Kardashians, but I really don't think they would go that far. And plus, I was asking a reporter in Paris the other day, I'm like, who'd they put on the case? Inspector Clouseau? I mean, they got away on bicycles?
I know.
Really? There's something is not right with that story. I would not pin that on the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Nancy, you are a Renaissance woman to me. You do everything. You talk
gonna
crime
take
on
that in a good
television.
way,
It is amazing. It is amazing. You do everything.
I didn't say every once and everything.
You talk crime on TV. You've written this amazing book, crime novel, Murder in the Courthouse, a Haley Dean mystery. Came out this week. Congratulations on that. Amazing. And now you have a Hallmark movie coming out.
I would like to invite all of y'all to my house, October 23rd. Atlanta and New York. October 23rd, Sunday night, 9 o'clock, Murder with Love. It's scary on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
But you have a cameo in this movie,
I have a cameo. And guess what they wanted me to play? A defense lawyer. I nearly did a backflip.
That's great.
Yeah, I am a defense lawyer in that. And Kelly, here's a little known fact. Kelly Martin is the star of the show. And as you know, you and I talked back when I was pregnant. Oh, and you certainly know. You were there when I was at HLN and I was pregnant. And Lucy and I almost died. And I had a bad pregnancy. And I would binge watch.
That was a terrible time for you.
I would binge watch Dexter and Mystery Woman. And the star of Mystery Woman was Kelly Martin. So when they told me she was going to play Haley Dean, I was so happy. She's awesome.
That's great.
We actually got along on the set. What does that mean?
Means that you backed off.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, that's what it means.
She's super sweet and wonderful. I think that's what
That too.
And by the way, you also told your kids that God put the baby in their
God
tummy.
did put the babies in my tummy. That's all I know.
She did it too.
So wait a minute.
It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right.
God did put the babies in my tummy.
No, you know who put
In
that
fact,
baby in
I
your
was down
stomach.
the street. I was down the street at Christ United Methodist Church, and I was praying that I wanted to have a baby. The next thing you know, I was pregnant. As far as I know, that's exactly what happened.
Listen, yesterday, Nancy was on a Sirius radio show. I don't know which one. And you were plugging your book, I think, and then you walked off. What happened?
Oh, let me tell you, I had no idea. I thought this was just a morning show, and I went in there. I had no idea I was going to be interviewed by Beavis and Butthead. I walked in, they were so excited. They're like, didn't you say this? And didn't you say that? I'm like, what? Yeah, I said it. And they suggested that my program that I had poured my life's blood into for 12 years and prosecuted and represented crime victims was capitalizing on missing children and murder victims. I almost started crying, but instead I got mad and bit back. And after about 10 minutes, I'm like,
I don't have to
see
say.
ya.
All right.
Yeah.
Beavis?
Wasn't it a comedy show, though?
I don't really know what it was, but it was hell for me.
I think the guy's a comedian.
Oh, well, it wasn't
weird.
funny.
It wasn't being funny.
It was not funny.
We've been around not funny people before, but we want to say thank you to Nancy Grace from movie Haley Dean Mystery Murder with Love. Premieres October 23rd on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. Check your local listings for times, and we, of course, as always, will be right back.
On ABC.
Tomorrow, Hillary's Veeps, Senator Tim Kaine and his wife Ann Holton are live on The View to reveal how their family's handling the wildest election in American history.